Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast. This is our first recording in my new house in the new year, and today I'm welcoming someone who I've been dying to get on the show for a while. Lyn Evans from Lyn Evans Designs. Thank you very much for joining me, Lyn.
Hi Alex, how are you this morning?
I'm good. I say this is the first recording, but it's not going to be the first show. I've made the executive decision to push this back a week so that we can get something out for the stressed parents out there whose kids can't go to school at the moment. We're going to do something with a teacher and some parents and stuff, and do like an audio sort of workshop for Monday. But this is going to be our second show of the year, so thank you very much for joining me. I've been dying to speak to you for a while, Lyn, because as far as Shrewsbury is concerned, your work is everybody can see your work, especially with the covers of My Shrewsbury and what have you. People are aware of your work. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I've been doing my torn paper collage artwork for the past decade, and I think I've sort of been quite prolific in getting it out there, because you can have the best artwork in the world, and if nobody knows about it, then, you know, it's a bit of a waste of time. So the people who have supported me from the word go, really, are still with me. So those are the likes of Abbey Foregate Post Office. They've been a stockist for a long time. Woodfield Stores in Port Hill. They've been absolutely brilliant. And Battlefield 1403, they've all been so supportive. And really, my work has just organically grown over the past decade.
Rightly so. It's fantastic work. I mean, I think I became first aware of you from Sarah from the Friend LB&B. She was like,
"Yeah,
are you aware of my friend Lyn, and she showed me some artwork on her landing. You know, she was like, I got some work here of hers, and it did blow me away, to be honest. And I think that was when I first got in touch with you. That was like last year,
yeah.
And we were going to do the show because you were going. Like, this is really interesting for you guys, for the listeners. The coincidence that's happened here, because you were going to America at the time, and I was like, should we do like a before, during, and after sort of interview? But it was just hectic for you, so we didn't do that. But like, you went with the link was Jackie Jordan from TV Guest Bit, which really threw me because I work with Jackie Jordan too. How was that for you? What was that like? How did that happen and stuff, you know?
It was just an amazing experience. And what I have learned is that we live in a very, very small world. Mm-hmm. Scott and Jackie, they were just great when I was over. And I went to California is where I went, Marina Del Rey. So I went there, it was last September, and I was out there for about 3 weeks with my work. And I got it all shipped out there, and they helped promote me. And I met some really interesting people through them. It really opened my eyes, actually, to because obviously I'm just used to Shrewsbury. I've not really, people in Shropshire are aware of my work, but nobody really outside unless they bought things from my website. So it was taking a massive plunge going across the pond over to America. And I loved every single moment of it. And it was really interesting as well, because we did a few market stalls in Marina Del Rey. And to hear the comments from the people that were there. And I mean, they were just people from all over the world, not just the local people that shopped at the market every week. There were all sorts of people there, but they were all saying similar things about my work, in that they didn't really believe that it was made with paper. A lot of people still think that they were oil paints or pastel work. So obviously when they realise that it's all hand-torn paper, they just see it in another way then. I took some work of, I'd done a collage of the square in Shrewsbury. Nice. That's sort of a little bit smaller than A1, the original. And I've got that there, and I was sort of explaining that was my hometown. And the comments were, they just couldn't believe it. They were just asked if Hansel and Gretel lived there. They couldn't believe that that's where the cinema was. There was a cafe in the market hall. It sort of promoted Shrewsbury in America, really. And also, I was saying it was a small world. There was 2 ladies I met there. One was from Wem, and the other one was from Whitchurch. They were out visiting their sons separately. Their sons were working in IT in Venice. And they were sort of walking by, just sort of seeing the images of Shrewsbury, thinking, hang on a minute. So it was quite funny.
I imagine it's a bit like Frodo leaving the Shire, because it's a big bad world out there.
Yeah.
How did that happen though? What was the initiation? What was the how did that happen? Because there were somebody like Jackie is friends. Well, she's part of the family with Bibbs and Bill. She's the daughter-in-law, isn't she? And that's kind of how we met. A big shout out to Bibbs and to Bill. Amazing people in Shrewsbury. So what was I mean, everyone can be drawn to your work because it is beautiful. But to go from like shoot to like let's take this to America, how did that happen?
Well, every year I book a slot in the Bear Steps and in Shrewsbury, and I book it for a month. I don't book it for 2 weeks because by the time I've gone after the fortnight, people are coming back. They've heard that I'm there, and then I've disappeared. So I always book it for a month. So it was, I think it was last year or the year before, I booked it for a month, and Bibbs is part of the Civic Society there. So I've known Bibbs for years. And Bill always comes and brings her sandwiches when she's upstairs working. So I got to know Bill as well. So I got to know them. And then Scott was visiting them over from America with Jackie. And Bibbs dragged him into my art exhibition and said, Scott, Jackie, you've got to see Lyn's work. You'll love it. And they walked in and clapped eyes. I'd done a set of 4 camper vans made with torn paper. They clapped eyes on those, and that was it. He was hooked, and he said, oh, you've got to come to America. You know, we've got to arrange for you to come over because people need to see this. So it kind of went from there, really. I think that was in May. And by the middle of September, I was sat on his boat in Marina del Rey Marina, drinking beer and discussing how we were going to get out and about throughout California when I was out there, which was amazing. Just like I said, it was amazing. Yeah, something I'll never forget. We talk about it all the time.
I mean, if Jackie or Scott are going to listen to this, I do want to say thank you actually because they've taken me under their wing as well with the stuff we're doing with the US, UK, USUC stuff. In fact, on Saturday I've got an interview with a lady called Jeanette Yoffie, and that's because of TV Guestpert and the work that we do. We've done many interviews, one with Jackie herself, and this is what they do. So a big thank you to you, Jackie, and the work that you do, and Bibbs and Bill as well, because Bill is awesome, by the way. Because I don't remember if you remember in the summer we recorded the So Stories, where we did some audio tours around town, and we did Bear Steps and medieval Shrewsbury with Bibbs, and it was a very hot day, very hot, bright day. And we were both, by the end of it, like it was so hard. And Bibbs would work so hard with, because she's got her notes and she's going through it all, and she was exhausted by the end of it. And she was like, come round for a drink. So I went round for a drink, and Bill was like, hey, Alex, how's it going? You know how he is. He's very loud, very friendly guy. And he slapped a beer down on the table. He's like, yeah, you drink my beer. And he went upstairs, and he went, because I like my shirts. I like my open shirts usually during the summer. And he came down and brought some tropical shirts for me. And he was like, you can have he literally gave me the shirt off his back. He's amazing. So yeah, fantastic. And for the listeners at home that aren't aware of Lyn's work, first of all, shame on you. You need to go and check that out. You can go to the website by all means, which is lynevansdesigns.co.uk. But it's something extraordinary to see, because these amazing pieces of artwork are made with torn pieces of paper, not with paint, and they look amazing. And the scenery work is just spot on. Where did you find out that you could do this, Lyn? Where did it come from?
I think I've always been artistic, always. Retail was my background for 20 years, between the ages of sort of 20 and 40. But when I look back, I was always really good at art. And even as a child, I can remember, I do a lot of WI talks, and I always talk about this story because it just makes them laugh, and it makes me laugh when I think about it. At a very rural location, and one morning I just got up. It was a Sunday morning. It was a really sunny day, and we'd made dens in hedges. There was about 6 or 7 of us that used to make these dens, and I got up and had this vision. I got cardboard boxes in cling film, and I'd made window frames for my holes in the hedge, along with double glazing, which would obviously be cling film one side of the cardboard and cling film the other side. And I'd made these little things. And I mean, when I look back at that, if my daughters had done that, I'd have gone, that's really creative. And I think I could just turn my hand to anything, whether it be cooking. But I think when you're young, you don't really, you just do it. And I think I just presumed that everybody could do those sort of things. And I realise now that they can't. People have got their skill sets, haven't they?
Absolutely, yeah.
And I think working, even in my retail career, I've had to be quite creative. I've had the window displays for Dash Leisurewear, which is now Superdrug on Pride Hill. I did sort of some of the interior displays in there. And I think, working for independent businesses, you have to be creative with display and merchandising.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think because my inner artist was desperate to get out, I'd do art courses of an evening, and I'd have a dabble with, oils and pastels and watercolours. Watercolours I cannot do. I mean, I really do. I'm in awe of anybody who can do a good watercolour, because I know how unforgiving, applying that paint is. And then I did some collage, which I absolutely loved. I'd been down in Cornwall. I'd seen a lovely display there of collage. And I thought, that's a really interesting medium. I like that. And then it got to my friend's 40th birthday, Matthew, and we were invited to his birthday. And I didn't want to take him a bottle of champagne. I wanted to do something unusual. And his family always went to Sennan Cove in Cornwall. So I decided I was going to do some artwork of that for him. And we'd moved house, and all of my art materials that I'd bought for my art courses were tucked away. But I had got magazines and I had got glue. So I thought, I'll do a collage. So I found a picture. It was of there's like a round building in Sennan, which is now an art gallery. And I did that, and I presented that to him, and he absolutely loved it. And friends of mine clapped eyes on it, and they asked me to make some for them, which I did. And at the time, my children were little, and I had been looking to work from home. I was actually going to go and make cake pops, which I'd already sort of launched, really. But I was having so much fun with this ripping and sticking and tearing process. And with my retail background, I thought I could probably make a go of this. And the more people were telling me the same thing, the more I thought, I think I've got a market for this. And I trusted myself to execute the collages. So at the Willow Gallery in Oswestry, I went there and I presented them with 6 of them. They found me some wall space, and I promptly sold 3. And one of them went to San Diego, actually. So with the income then from the collages, I was able to get some greeting cards done and some prints. And Special Days in Radbrook Green were the first stockists, and they happily sold them. And really, it's gone from there. I've kind of focused on Shropshire mainly, Wales, because I love Wales and I love the coastline, and Cornwall. So I've kind of focused on those 3 areas. And then along came animals. I did farm animals, I did wildlife animals, I did cats, I did dogs. And now, if anybody goes on my website, they will see this whole decade of work. I'm not a one-trick pony. I can do anything, really, because I work from photograph. I basically stick what I see. But the colour choice that I make is vital. So my sticking and tearing process is quite quick for me. I'm quite quite quick at it. But actually going through the magazines to try and find the colours I need, that's never speeded up. That's always the same sort of. Sometimes I'll just put my hand to the right amount of colours to cover the surface area, and then sometimes it can take me a really, really long time. So I just have to go with that. That's just all part of it. And it's very exciting when I do find the right amount of colours and I can just get on and start sticking and tearing and manipulating the paper.
How do you? I mean, like you go by a palette with your magazines, glossy magazines. I was speaking to a mutual friend of ours who I won't mention on the show. I'll mention off air, but she wanted to know sort of like, how do you find your palette? Like, what best magazines do you use for that? How do you choose it?
Very, very lucky. A friend of mine did a fashion degree, so she had Vogue magazine on subscription for years. She's now an artist in Cornwall. She's moved from Shropshire. She's down there. And she said to me, "Oh, Lyn, would you like these magazines? I've got so many of them. I don't know what to do with them, and I want them to go to a good home." And that was a few years ago she gave me those, and I'm still using those now because the quality of the paper is just brilliant. It's quite nice and thick. It's not flimsy. And obviously the photographs that they use in there is second to none. And then the other one that I like is the World of Interiors, which is the Vogue of Interiors, if you like.
Okay.
So I'm tending to find a lot of pattern in there and a lot of plain colour. So they're brilliant for that, and National Geographic as well. I like those.
Great collection of magazines. Does it matter the magazine, the quality of the magazine, or can you just find, like, you go to the doctors, well, sort of pre-COVID, go to the doctors and they have that pile of magazines in the waiting room. You find yourself like looking through them, going, "Ooh, tear a page out of that. Ooh, I'll tear."
But, I have been tempted. I have, honestly. But I don't look at magazines in the same way now. I don't tend to read them. I am always homing in on that colour, and that is because of what I do for a living. I can't help it.
I mean, I'm looking at this one that you've done as a quarry, and it's got right in the middle of the left. It's got the bandstand with the blue, and that blue is very particular to sort of old church rooftops and things, But that's a very particular style of blue. So will you keep a magazine, be like, I need these, I might need this a bit down the road, so I'm going to discard that and save it for a while? And have you got magazines that you've held for like years because of it?
Yes, I have. If I'm going through something, I've sometimes struggled to find like an aqua blue.
Yeah.
So if ever I'm going through a magazine and I just happen to find a page that's 80% aqua blue, I will pull that out, actually, and I'll pop that into a plastic sleeve. Other than that, I tend to keep them in the magazines because it keeps the paper so fresh.
Yes.
And I do like that thrill of the chase of looking through the magazines and finding what I need.
Do you have a process for sort of, this is a strange question, I don't know why it came to my head, but how they cure bacon, they sort of smoke it and stuff like that. Is there a process for making paper look a bit older, and have you ever used anything like that, or is it always just brought about fresh, bright colours?
Yeah, it is for me. It's fresh, bright colours, and I tend not now to leave the white edges of the paper. I tear it in a particular way because I just like the pure saturation of colour.
Yes.
And I do quite like making them look painted. I like to challenge the eye in that way, especially like if I'm doing a building, the edges that I will have drawn that are straight lines, they've got to be straight, and I've got to stick up to that line because otherwise I'll go a bit wonky. So with buildings and windows and window panes, they tend to be quite accurate. But if I'm doing the sky or water or some flowers or plants next to it, I'll have fun with those, and they'll be a little bit more abstract. Yeah. And I think that's what keeps the eye moving on my work, and there's always something a bit different to see.
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, I'm looking at your work now. Obviously, I'm a pro, but I can see a bit of work behind you now. Is that something you're working on? That, is it? How long does it take? Like from the beginning? Say, I don't know. Should we include the planning process? So you've taken a picture, you've done a sketch, and now you need the colours. From that beginning right to when it's finished, how long does a painting take?
It depends on the size, really. It depends on what surface area I'm covering. And it depends on the detail. So, for instance, if you were to look at the square in Shrewsbury that we were just talking about, there's an awful lot of detail in that. That, I think, took me about a month, if I can remember rightly. I think And animals, probably, again, it just all depends on how long it takes me to find the colours. They can take me anything up to 3 to 4 days. But just some are just quicker than others. It just all depends, really. I have to juggle my time between being a mum and going to see my stockists. If I work for any longer than 4 hours a day, my neck starts to ache. So if I'm going to do a collage, it tends to be between sort of 10 and 1, 2 o'clock in the day, because I'm fresh then and I can, do a good job of it in that I'm not tired. And then some days I just don't want to do it, so I'll go off and do some card packing or something. But that's very, very rare that happens.
How hard is it to sort of rectify mistakes when you're working with paper and glue and stuff? Can you just glue over it, or is it a case of right, that's ruined, start again?
Yeah, no, that it's a very forgiving medium because you can stick over it. It's the drawing, really. You've got to get the drawing right first and be happy with the perspective, because once you've got that right, or for me personally, just sticking the paper to where I need it to be. That really just does come from the heart. I just go with it.
I'm looking at one that you've done of like the entrance into Fish Street, and you've got the churches there. I'm looking at now, and it's so perfect how you've got the different brickworks in the churches, and talking about perspective. It just looks amazing. Like I love it. I think it's awesome. Do you get people coming to you and being like, I would very much like you to do a collage of my house. Where do you live? Yes, well, I live in the other end of the country. Will you please do it for me? Do you get that a lot? Will you commission?
Yeah, I do. And the great thing is I can do that because I just need a good photograph. And once I've got the photograph, I'm away then. I can do it. And then I can post it flat, unframed to them. I get that a lot. I do a lot of house portraits, and the great thing is I always offer, if they want me to hide families' names or pets' names in there. So if there's white window frames, I can hide people's names up the window frames. So when you stand back from it, you wouldn't necessarily know they were there. But obviously when you get quite close up to it, you can see all the detail in there. And in fact, when you are close up, they are quite primitive, really.
Nice. I mean, it's a very particular type of art, and if you seem to do you run like workshops and things to teach people how to make this kind of art?
I did years ago. I did it with Sarah from Ferndale. We really enjoyed it. We held about 3, I think, over the period of a week, and I loved it. I loved doing that, and the people that came, and nobody wanted to go home. They just wanted to carry on doing it, and the day just flew. And I think mentally it was good as well. It was good for me because it got me out of the studio. And then to meet other people, and then it's interesting to see how they did theirs, because everybody is different. It's like handwriting. Everybody's got a different take on things. I've been watching the Portrait Artist of the Year, and that's really interesting how you've got those 3 artists, and yet they all perceive that same person differently. I find that really, really interesting. But then life took over, and my work just got more busier and busier and busier, and I couldn't do the workshops anymore. But it's not a no, it's just a not now. I think in the future I'd like to do that again because it was just so enjoyable.
I mean, I was talking to Lindsay Kelly. It was a show released a couple of weeks ago from the Viv Kelly Dance School, and we're talking about vocations and sort of like the things you do that you just know how to do. They're just like you haven't learned it from a book. You haven't, I know you can go to art college and university, and that's amazing. But some people just know how to do these things. It's like a superpower, right? I imagine.
Oh, I'm going to take that. Yeah, I've got a superpower.
You've got a superpower.
Yeah, it does come naturally. It really does. Like driving a car, and practice makes perfect. And I've just stuck at what I've done over the years, loved every minute of it, and I'm just so excited for the future. I really am. And not many have seen my work still. I'm still a bit of the best kept secret, really, because I have sort of stuck locally. I've just I did a post on, there's a great group called Not on Amazon that's appeared on Facebook, and that's headed by an artist himself. He entered this page before Christmas, and they've got 98,000 followers now.
Wow.
And I posted on that yesterday, and this morning I think I was up to 412 likes on my work and all these beautiful comments. And these people haven't seen my work before, and my likes have gone up on Facebook, and I find that really exciting.
This is why I always say it's important to just keep sort of consistency in sort of sharing your work and telling people about your work, even if it feels like you're being repetitive and you feel probably annoying a few people. You're also probably notifying a few people that may have breezed past or not even been on the page or Facebook page or group or whatever for a few days, so they haven't seen your posts. They might catch their eye one day, and there you go, you've got a new fan, a new follower. So if you're ever creative and you're using social media to sort of tell people about your work, just be consistent with your posts and things. I mean, I had a bit of a break sort of around Christmas because I've moved house and it's Christmas. But like I felt really guilty. I'm really guilty that I haven't been doing much on Instagram, on Facebook and stuff, but I'm back now. I'm back, now you've opened up a store on Mardol, which people are say people walking around Shrewsbury. There's not many people walking around Shrewsbury at the moment, but people may have seen it on Mardol. What? Tell us the story of this No.61 Mardol.
I'm really, really excited about No.61. It's been in the pipeline all year, and there's been so many setbacks with the virus and various other things. But we were just determined to open up before Christmas to catch the Christmas trade.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's the guys from Memory Lane, Ian Hartshorn and Paul Rawlings, they bought the building.
Mm-hmm.
Ian I've known for 100 million years. And he said to me earlier on the year, Lyn, we're going to open this up and we really want you on board to help us. So his son Niall is with us as well. So Niall and I are there. I'm there 3 days a week and Niall is there for 6. And we are pioneering handmade items. So I've got quite a large section in the store. We've got cabinet space that we've rented out to handmade artists. We've tried to make sure that everybody's different, which hasn't been difficult because everybody is so different.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a great way if I'd have had this 10 years ago when I first started, I'd have jumped at it. It's such a great and affordable way for artists to get themselves on the high street, for us to show off their work. And we opened the doors on the 7th of December, and the people that came through the doors were just blown away by what we were doing. We've got prices from anything up to £3 to £3,000.
Yes.
The handmade, vintage and antique area throws another realm into it, so it kind of mixes it all up. So we've got old and we've got new, and it's jewelry, it's glassware, it's pottery, it's wood. There's just something for everybody. It's such an interesting, even me as an artist, I'm looking at things in a whole new way, and I'm just really proud to be a part of it. And again, the feedback that we've had, you thrive off this, don't you? What people say to you. And people are all saying the same thing. It's so different. It's so nice, and it's such a lovely space. It's spacious and
Colourful.
It's airy. Yeah. And there's a lovely lead up to the front of the shop because there's windows either side, so people are shopping before they've even stepped through the door. Yeah. And there's always going to be something different to see. So, yeah, we're absolutely thrilled with it. We really are.
Well, I visited you guys just before lockdown, and I thought it was really honest. My first impressions walking into there was just wow, seriously, because you got the jewelry cabinets, you got furniture, there's pictures, and you got your corner as well with all your beautiful bright colors. And there's cushions. There's so much going on. It really reminded me of I went to Venice years ago, and they had the Salvador Dali exhibition there, which I absolutely love. Salvador Dali. I've been to 2 different ones now across Europe, and my wife had to drag me out the door. I could have spent hours in there just looking at all the amazing things that he used to make, because I love where you've just got like so many different types of things to look at, and you really can. If you've not been into No.61 Mardol, I take it you guys are closed at the moment during lockdown, or are you still open?
Sadly, we are. We're trying to share as much work as we can for the artists that they're putting on their own pages, just to keep things ticking along. And anything, because I know that any artist now in this lockdown, they are going to be working like mad, making new work, so that when we're all able to safely reopen again, everything is going to be full of new, fresh things. And it's ideal for the person who they don't want mass produced. They're individual people who want those individual things that are affordable, and that are handmade and that are so unique, and we're just going for it.
And Shrewsbury, Shropshire mainly, but Shropshire's got in an abundance, hasn't it? As far as Shrewsbury's concerned, they always say there's something in the 7. That's kind of my catchphrase now. There's something in the 7. Should make a song out of it, because it always seems to be that there are so many people. Whether it comes to, it doesn't matter what you're looking at. Whether you're looking at artists or authors or dancers like Lindsay Kelly and the Viv Kelly guys, musicians, Andy O'Brien, all these amazing people that in Shrewsbury that just seem to be so talented. We're so lucky. So yeah, it mustn't have been hard for you to find artists. How did you find everyone? Did it just a simple post on Facebook, or did you already know these guys and did you approach them?
Yeah, I mean, I think with my background, I'd kind of got a handful of people who I just knew would fit perfectly, and it was a thrill for me because they came in and they sold, and when they were coming in then to see what their sales were and they'd done really well, that just gave me such a thrill. I was so pleased for them. And then the Made in Shropshire people in the square that meet every 2 weeks, we've got quite a few of those on board, and it's an ideal area for them because any customers then that they want to pick up in the week, if they're not going to be there on the following Saturday, they can come and do that. And then what we really want to do is get some more people from all across the UK, not necessarily Shropshire, but bring some Cornwall artists, some Scottish artists, whoever really, and just bring something again very, very different. I think the feeling that I'm getting talking to people is that people are really being supportive to the independents. They've made quite a point of shopping from us local people.
Yes.
Shrewsbury is known for being a friendly town. I mean, I'm so proud to be part of that town, and I've born and bred Shrewsbury. And I think I'm feeling a lot of love from the Shropshire folk. I really am. And also, I will just say, we've done really well with our COVID numbers. I know all across the UK is horrendous, but Shropshire, in fairness, we haven't been too bad. I know it's going up now, and I'm sort of part relief that we're in lockdown and part frustration, but I know it's the right thing. And I know that come the summer, we'll be hopefully some sort of normality again, and spreading the love with the art, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's important, and you bring up lockdown and COVID and the situation we're in. I mean, I've got all these amazing ideas, like, because this is what you do when you're in lockdown, right? Because I mean, I've been working anyway, so I work, I go to work, I come home, I do my creative stuff. I very rarely have time for TV and PlayStation and Xbox and stuff like that. I just make stuff, that's kind of what I do. And I come up with new ideas, and I come up with an idea for a biscuit tour, like a roadshow type thing, where we can bring some equipment and we could turn up at a premises and just whack on a live show, like a live stream, and just have people come and sit and talk to us. But we can't do that at the moment because there's a blooming virus. Like, once this is all done, we'll do that. And I'd love to like set up a table at number 61 and just be like, okay, this is where we are. Come and talk to us. Come and have a look, and we'll get people in, and they can come sit next to us at the table and talk to us and interview. It'll be amazing.
Yeah.
One day.
Funny enough, we were having a group discussion last week at number 61 about similar things, really, like you. It's kind of like the engine's running, but the brakes are on, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, if ever you want to come to number 61 and have a table, Alex, you'd be more than welcome, and we'd feed you tea. And we were thinking about having kind of like an artist in the entranceway there doing people's portraits. How cool would that be?
Yeah. Yeah. One of those guys that do like those upside down portraits and then slam it around the other side.
Yeah. Let's have him.
I'd love to. We did something at Participate a few years ago. We did the Open Art Studios sessions, and we just set up a table. I was sat next to Tat FB. She's amazing. And,
she's good, Tat.
That's how we first met, me and Tat. She's been on the show a couple of times. And I just sat there and I was just like, okay, anybody, there's people working around me because it's the Open Art Studios. But if anybody wants to come and sit and talk to me, you're more than welcome. And we did. We sat and spoke to a lot of the artists there. And I love that. I love that.
Brilliant, yeah.
Sort of like some excitement. You never know what you're going to get. We'll sort something out. Hopefully in the summer, things are a bit easier. Maybe that hopefully, I mean, fingers crossed this vaccine sort of does what it's supposed to. And, it's safer to go out and stuff. I don't know. Fingers crossed. I've got to be nothing but optimistic about this year because, I don't know. I said that 2021 is going to be the year. And I'm kind of confident that I'm right.
I think it will. I think everybody's looking at things with a different hat on now. But I think as well, I think we've just got to take things week by week and just all keep calm and keep safe and just hope for the best, really.
Well, while the store's closed and while everybody's in lockdown, does this mean extra artwork for you? Are you constantly like, oh, I've got extra time now? Maybe you can sit and do extra art, or is it?
Yes, I think even from last year, when we went into the first one in March, I just again my Bare Steps exhibition, my month slot was cut short by a week, and in fact it was then that I actually made my Shrewsbury Quarry Park collage, which and I was determined to make that a really happy piece. And that really took off for me in the summer, which was brilliant. And I think I put a post out on Facebook saying if anybody wants any commissions, now's the time to ask me. And I got inundated. And in fact, I am still doing that work now. So I've got a little waiting list. So yes, I think when did we go into lockdown? Monday, wasn't it? So this week I've just been getting the house straight. I've demolished the Christmas tree, getting my food shopping, doing all my mum duties. And then from next week onwards, I'm just welded to my studio. So I'm just catching up with work that people are waiting for. I'd love to slip in another couple of collages of the town. I want to do Wild Cop and I want to do the castle with lots of colour. Those are that's on my wish list.
I tell you what I'll do is once we get, because the only thing holding us back now from earning money as a show is a bank account, which has been a nightmare. I need to open up a bank account. But once we start getting money, I will commission you to do our logo. I'd love for you to do our logo at Lyn Evans specials. I'd love to do that. So we'll speak about that afterwards.
I'd have some fun with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to have that in the studio. I feel like it is the time to be a bit creative, learn a new skill or anything. Is there anything that you've added to your work because of this extra time during lockdown? Is there something you've learned to add to your work, or is it just a case of just get through all these commissions that you've yourself forward for?
Yeah, I think that what I learned a lot from doing Shrewsbury Quarry Park, in that I know that people like those really bright blues and the bright greens. I've done cabbages on trees. I know to make my work a more fun. And I think to add the little people in as well, I had a lot of comments on that. So I think probably people will see my work change when I do more Shrewsbury things, in that I will be adding a bit more quirk. It'll obviously still be what it is, but there'll be a bit more quirk. I'm quite a quirky person anyway. Yeah. But I think I'll be a little bit more playful with what I do, and I'll do that with confidence.
What I love about that quarry picture, which I'm looking at now, is the rowing club building at the bottom. Is that the rowing club, right? That's right. I love how you've got the little thatches in. Like, it's just so brilliant how you managed to get that detail. It's all about the detail for me. I love doing that. The detail tends to come last, towards the end of the piece. I'll sort of get the basics down, and then I start doing a bit of infill. But I do like the detail element, I must admit, and that gives me a lot of satisfaction when I've done that. Well, once you've finished your art and everything's all stuck down and everything, do you seal it afterwards?
No, it goes behind. It gets professionally framed behind art glass, which is I think it blocks up. I think I'm right in saying 98% of UV light. Okay. So it's quite safe. It's quite safe behind the glass. So no, I tend not to. I like the paper in its raw form, really, and because the quality of the paper is so good, I don't. I used to work on canvas. So I'd give that like a spray varnish on the top. But I didn't really like doing that, to be honest. It's okay. I prefer it just, I know it's bulletproof behind that glass.
Have you ever tried to sort of finish seal off a bit of work and it's gone horribly wrong with the varnish or the spray that you do? You know,
no, luckily. If that had been the case, I'd have cried, because obviously I'll put hours into this.
Yes, I am updated.
and to fall at the last hurdle, awful. There has been a few instances where I've been working and I've had a cup of tea spilled.
Oh no!
Luckily, nothing's ever gone on my work, but I try not to now put a cup of tea where I'm working. I'll stop, go and have the cup of tea, then come back and work on it. So I try not to have any liquids on the bench. But do you know what? You live and learn, don't you?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's how I've learned my trade. Is those shows that I just never want to listen to ever again. I mean, I will listen to. I mean, I've listened to some really early works of mine, and I've gone, "Wow, I was so bad." You know, but
isn't it funny? Yeah, but it's all part of evolving in what you do, isn't it? And, you know, so people that stick out then what they're doing, they're the ones that succeed, I think.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, I think you're an inspiration to artists around the town. I feel like because I mean there is so much pride when it comes to this town. I mean, For the Love of Shrewsbury is like one of the biggest inspirations for this show. I was kind of like, wow, look how much people love Shrewsbury. Look at that. Like if I do a podcast, people will listen, and they did, and they do. So I mean, like when it comes to like the visuals of Shrewsbury, there's just so much to look at, and you will see these pictures in abundance, and people are so they're so proud of them. The likes, the comments, like you said, like you've witnessed yourself. Is there a place in Shrewsbury you haven't yet collaged and you would love to?
It's Wildcop and it's the castle, really. And Traitors Gate as well. I'd like to do there.
Ooh, that'd look lovely.
Yeah, but I know that from when I do the shows, people come to me and they say, "Oh, have you done Clee Hill yet?" You know, they say to me, "Have you done all these places?" And they want some more places in Cornwall. I always write them down. I've got my list. So I'm never really ever going to be stuck for material and what to do. Which is why I'm going to turn lemonade out of lemons when I'm in this lockdown. I'm going to try and get and do as much as I possibly can. I've got everything here. I've got my magazines. I've got my glue. I've got my mount board. I just need to just crack on, really. And that's really what I'm going to try and do. And then when we reopen on number 61, there'll be something new to see. And I just hope all the other artists can sort of be motivated as well and stick at it and come back with all guns blazing. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you and to thank Katie Rink from My Shrewsbury, who's been a massive wind in my sails. And Lorraine Fletcher, who hosts the For the Love of Shrewsbury and For the Love of Shropshire pages.
Yeah.
I'm just in debt with them because they've just been, I know they like my work anyway, and it's easy for them to be promoting it for me because they love it. But it's massive for me because I'm stuck here in my little rural studio. And when I know that those powerhouses are behind me, including yourself, it's huge. So thank you.
Oh, bless you. No, I want to say thank you. I mean, you give me the content. I mean, people want to hear this, and the fact that you graciously accepted is on me. I really do. I'm grateful for that. I need to get Lorraine Fletcher back on the show. She was on the show early in sort of the Biscuits sort of creation. I was kind of like, I think it was like a year into the Biscuit, and we did one with Stan Sedman, which was quite cool.
But, Stan as well. He's brilliant for the town, isn't he? Yeah,
I love him.
I know.
Miss him so much. Once the world opens again, he doesn't have to shield as much. Hopefully, we can go and do some stuff because we've been doing those stories. We were supposed to do some for the Darwin Festival. We're meant to get some stories done, basically following Darwin. You know, go to the school and go to the Unitarian Church, places like that, where he's been and done things.
Yeah.
But we can't really do that with COVID.
No,
I can't give people a microphone and be like, "It's clean, I swear." Like,
Yes. It's just too risky, isn't it?
Yeah, and I can't get to the studio. Well, I nearly spent quite a bit of money on perspex for the studio table, right?
Yeah.
So I was going to buy 3 sheets and make it sort of safe and just underwire all because I've got these really long wires where you can plug the headphones in. Just tell people bring their own headphones. Everybody's got headphones. Right? It was a great idea to do stuff, but then we can't open. So I'm glad I didn't buy the perspex because it'd be sat in my apartment just doing nothing. But I'm so confused at what to do. I don't know where I stand as a studio is what I can do, but at this moment I'm treading very cautiously because I don't want a £10,000 fine. Thank you very much.
No, is that what the fine is? Is it 10,000?
I think anything from 200 to 10,000. I feel like there's been some people have been caught like doing like group gatherings, mass group gatherings, and they've had like £10,000 fines and things. I don't want to be, and as well as that, I want to keep people safe. That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
I want to do this in person. I want to do this face to face rather than over Zoom, which is great. It's a tool and we use it well, but there's nothing better than being able to. I'm a bit of a flirt. I like to flirt with people and kind of get that chemistry going, and it helps. It really does help in the interview when you're in person and you can kind of vibe off each other.
Yeah.
It is what it is. What's the plan for? Do you have a plan for 2020? Are you able to plan for 2021, or is it a case of suck it and see sort of thing?
Yeah, I think my plan is a really simple one. I'm just going to do as much work as I physically can while we're in lockdown. And then when we're in number 61, I'm just going to promote that as much as I possibly can, drag people in off the streets, and make that a massive success. Really, it's a lovely thing to promote because everybody that comes in, it makes them feel happy. And they don't know that they're going to be happy before they come in. And when they leave, they've got a smile on their face and they're impressed. To be able to do that is a good thing. So it's all positive, and I like that. That's really great.
Yeah. Are you still looking for people to collaborate with at number 61, or are you guys?
Yeah, we could do with a few more. We haven't got anybody who's dealing with wood yet. We're okay for silver jewellery. But if anybody makes anything in any unusual forms in jewellery, we'd be all ears. Ceramics, we're kind of okay for. It's just anybody who's doing something that's really different, we're interested. Yeah, we are, because it's very affordable to be with us. We've made it affordable for the artists because there's no point otherwise. We want happy artists on board. And everybody sold something before Christmas, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
But again, that was down to the people that bothered to come through the doors and come and have a look.
Yeah.
And they parted with their hard-earned cash, and they're going to come back with us. And it's again positive experience. Everybody's a winner.
Yeah, I want things to go back to normal, especially for the people down at Mardol and people that have been affected by the floods and still just haven't been able to gain any sort of sort of speed. You can't get up to a running speed if you're constantly stopped by floods, by lockdowns, and people like Tom Matthews at Nerdy Cafe. He's had a terrible run of it because his place was destroyed by the floods. Rebuilt it. It's like, hey, we're open. No, you're not. You're closed. Mardol, that sort of side of town that's been affected by the floods, really just needs a good run of things, and I really just want that for people. So, But I really do wish you the best this year, Lyn, and we will set up. I've got tables and ways we can move. I do want to do that. I'll nearly want to call it the Shrewsbury Biscuit Roadshow, but I feel like we'd be stealing off something there.
I got you.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like, we just want to go different places and just appear. Like under the cinema in the market hall, in Market Square, Town Square. It's like, we're here, we're outside. Hey, we've got a market. Come sit and talk to us. I'd love to do that with a biscuit, but we can't at the moment. So
I'm thinking that you need a big mascot. You need a big Shrewsbury Biscuit mascot. Somebody in a big Shrewsbury Biscuit foam outfit. What do you think?
That'd be amazing. Does anybody want to do? If anybody wants to design as a mascot and parade around Shrewsbury in a Shrewsbury Biscuit mascot suit, please get in touch. Because
wouldn't it be great? But if they came through our yellow door at number 61, they'd have to come in sideways, wouldn't they?
Yeah, they would. I mean, I don't know what I'd go for. If we had a big biscuit, or we'd have an animal, or what would? Okay, it's a question for the listeners. What would be our spirit animal? If the Shrewsbury Biscuit was going to have a spirit animal, what would it be? So, right into PO Box. Lyn, I've loved speaking to you. We can do this again sometime, please, because I'd love to.
Yeah, I'd love to, Alex. And like I say, you're always welcome to come into number 61 when we're safe to do so. You really would have a warm welcome. So let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've enjoyed this. And if you've never checked out Lyn's work, please go to our website, which is lynevansdesigns.co.uk. Have you got websites for number 61? Is it all Facebook, social media stuff?
No, not yet, but we've got social media. Yeah, so we're number 61 on both, actually. But there's like a yellow logo, and it says number 61 in the centre. So
it's very easy to pop up when you search for it as well, because when you're writing a Facebook thing on your actual page, sometimes you can only sort of tag businesses, and it's quite hard to tag businesses. And sometimes if you type in number 61 and Mardol, it comes up as number 61. It's very easy to sort of tag and stuff. So
and I've shared it on my page, so it'll be found. Yeah.
Support local, support independence, and definitely check out Lyn's work if you haven't done. I appreciate this. I'd like to give our website a shout out as well, which is www.theshrewsburybiscuitpodcast.co.uk, and that's made for us by our friends at Web Orchard. If you need a website, make sure you check out Pete's website, and he'll sort you out. He's building me a website for my US UK stuff at the moment as well. He's a great guy. Lyn, you've been amazing. Thank you so much for joining us. I wish.
Thanks, Alex.
Thank you very much. And I wish you guys Happy New Year. I know it's the second show in the month, but hey, this has been an amazing show. We'll catch you guys next time. And
definitely. Good luck in your new home as well.
Oh, thank you very much. Peace out, guys. Take it easy.